Welcome, virtual audience, fans, or people that have just stumbled upon this piece of internet content. My name is Kid at Heart, Steve Starobinsky, and this is the Happy Half Hour, a conversation with interesting people, an introduction to these people that have a connection with play, with trend, with fashion. And today we have an incredible guest, somebody that I got to personally meet at ComplexCon, the creator of one of the coolest fashion, emerging streetwear, couture, beautiful brands I'm representing. His name is Colm, aka KidSuper. Say hello.
Hello. Wow, you crushed that intro.
Yes.
That was impressive. You really turned that on. Nice done.
I really like doing this show in the time of Corona when we can't travel. Like I traveled for a living. I went to trade shows, and like that got taken away from me. And I felt this need, like, how do I meet people, man? Like it became a question that I had to kind of answer myself. And now I get to meet cool people like you.
Awesome.
Dude, can you tell everybody what KidSuper is? Can you describe the brand? And then we'll talk about your journey and how you got into it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess obviously it's always funny talking about KidSuper because it's always every day changing and transforming and is really just kind of an idea out of my head. But at the heart of it, it is just a clothing brand that started when I was 15 making t-shirts in New York City, and then with each opportunity and as I progressed and grew and got better at things, so did the brand. So from there we went into full-on collections, music videos, art, ended up at Paris Fashion Week, and so it's been kind of a crazy ride. And yeah, what I love most about KidSuper, and as you were saying, like the play at heart, but for me it's that ethos that when we're children, we always believe that we can be superheroes. So why lose that? And that enthusiasm and kind of like almost silly optimism and blinding, potential is really what the brand's all about.
That's awesome, man. I love that. Not losing the ability to be a superhero just because you become an adult all of a sudden. That's pretty cool. I read your manifesto. Your this idea of how you always said yes, and you became an artist because you were a creator. We'll flash the manifesto up. Can you talk us through it a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, I've written so many manifestos, so I don't even know which one you're talking about, but I know at the heart what they're about. But yeah, I mean, I never sought after. I mean, I don't know what I was thinking. I obviously had my own personal goals and kind of plan of action, but it wasn't so much like I wanted to be an artist or I wanted to be a designer or I just knew that I always was making things and I wanted the world to, if I made art, to call me an artist. But I wasn't, I was never the type to be like, oh yes, I'm an art. Even now when people ask me what I do, it's like, I feel kind of shy about the term artist because I feel like it's almost what other people should call you. But as I said in the manifesto, I think saying yes to everything, being enthusiastic was a huge reason why not only did I get opportunities, but people started believing in me. Because it's like, yes, I did say yes to everything, but I also crushed every opportunity. So there's a fine line between, are you able to truly succeed with when you say yes? You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
I think that's super important for the audience to listen to. It's like, yeah, you can be enthusiastic. Yeah, you can say yes to everything, but that's not only it. You have to crush all the opportunities and work 10 times harder than everyone else.
That was great, man. I really identify with that. I started in the toy business when I was 16 as, a receptionist. And
It's 5 o'clock.
35 years old, and I've been in the toy business longer than I haven't been.
Right.
I feel that, and you crush every project, whether it's getting bagels or a sales pitch in front of Walmart.
Right.
Whoever's in front of you, man.
And I think also to enjoy those different stages. I think people are a little bit obsessed with having this like their dream, what they imagine success to be. And for me, I was paving my own lane and I was excited about that. And so I wasn't so uh, focused on why certain things weren't happening. I mean, I was just like, okay, we're on this road. Let's keep go. What's this journey? There's the hurdles. There's whatever. But yeah, that whole thing was fun for me.
Well, you got a bright future ahead of you, man. I can't wait to see what's coming down the runway for the brand. And I think we'll segue into showing a video of the most toyetic fashion campaign ever created. KidSuper Fall Winter 2021, right? And, and this collection was displayed by miniature versions of the clothing on Barbie-like dolls. Can you walk us through this campaign? How did you think of it? How did you execute it?
So I have done stop motion before, kind of a lot actually. Grow, not at growing up, but as I started KidSuper, claymation became a way that I could like turn my inanimate object life into anything and everything. So really, claymation to me is the art form that most represents the KidSuper spirit, because you can change anything into these lifelike objects. So you could even take a pencil and have it dance and etc. So I always loved claymation, and when this Paris Fashion Week went virtual, I knew instantly that that was what I was going to do. There was no brainstorming or hesitation, because I had always kind of wanted to do it. And the cool thing is, like, I researched hard for it, but not only was it an amazing thing, but I'm the first person to ever do it ever. Yeah. So it's pretty cool. And I mean, it's really, really difficult because stop motion is 24 frames per second.
Wow.
And so each second is 24 pictures, 24 movements, times that by 9 minutes, it's quite a lot of pictures and movements. Wow. So I had different people working on different projects at the same time. So while something was getting animated there, we were building the dolls or building the clothes. While that was finished, we were animating just to make it all in time.
That is incredible, man. And you sewed the mini versions of the clothing, right?
Yeah, so all the mini clothes are like, yeah, this big. So
are the mini clothes one of one?
Yeah, it's funny. And now stores are trying to buy it, and they're asking for a line sheet, which is usually what you send like after a fashion show.
Sure.
And I'm just sending them scanned images of these mini clothes.
Wow.
And they're just potentially going to order them big size, which
I'll connect the dots for you. For us with toy, one of the hottest, if not the hottest brands in the toy business right now is called Mini Brands, which are mini versions of like everything from Vegemite to Jiffy to Pantene Pro V in these surprise cases. And people are, I mean, mini anything is selling like crazy in our space. It's awesome. Yeah. High fashion mini clothing, one of one. Be incredible, dude.
Yeah, so it was funny. I thought what I loved about this virtual, so all brands went virtual. So that's KidSuper, but that's also Louis Vuitton, Dior, And when you do an actual fashion show, it's really hard to compete with these major brands that have $5 million budgets, because you need a space, you need models, so you can just dump money into a fashion show and it will end up good with lights and everything. But this one, since it was video, it was kind of brought us all down to a similar level where it was more on creativity. So I could spend whatever 5 to 10K on a video, and if the idea is good, it's better than a $20 to $5 million video. So I think
funny how that works. The ultimate equalizer.
Yeah, no, that's what I was saying. I was like, no, it was fine. Finally, I got to compete on just a creativity level with these designers, and I think I won.
Hell yeah, I agree. Dude, we want to know what toys had an impact on you as a kid. What toys are you still playing with as obviously a kid at heart? Tell us the connection.
This is hilarious and probably a horrible answer for your guys' podcast. but I wasn't a toy kid.
Good.
I wasn't a toy kid, and I've never played video games, and
Mm.
I've never owned a video game system. I never got into cards. I was one thing and one toy only, a soccer ball. I'm like a huge soccer player, grew up playing soccer, went to play soccer after high school in Brazil, played in college, et cetera, et cetera. So my first word was ball.
Mm.
But besides that, I really wasn't a toy kid. I like cartoons somewhat, so I like Dexter's Laboratory, and I think you've seen we're working on our own cartoon.
Yeah, we'll talk about that
But
next.
it's funny, it's funny to think about it now because everyone thinks I'm such like this imaginative living in like this other world, but actually I'm very tangible. So I didn't love like getting toys and going like Captain and Rob. I didn't like that. I liked physically like dressing up and acting and doing that. So I was very much like a physical human being. So it's funny because also I'm an only child as well.
Yeah.
So like I never really wanted to be alone as much like by myself. So I'd always be like going out, and I was very adventurous, and so yeah, I wasn't a huge toy kid, which is funny.
Very, very, I don't know, not against the grain, but I'm surprised for
Yeah,
sure.
no,
I'm surprised.
there's a lot of things that people like expect from me, and I'm not. That's one. I've also never smoked marijuana, which I don't know if this is a PG-13 or whatever, but everyone always assumes I've done that. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm like pretty straight edge when it comes to drugs and stuff.
Yeah.
Not even like, not that I'm against it and all my friends do it and stuff. I just never got into it. Yeah, I don't know.
I think this is great. This is
Yeah.
unearthing a unique connection.
Yeah.
Well, you did mention KidSuper getting into the animation space, and I got a chance to preview some of the slides for your collaboration with Puma. I'd
Right.
like you to talk about the collab in general. I think, people maybe use or overuse that word. I'm curious what your take on it is overall. What makes a good collab? Is there any different business or paperwork that people should be aware of, or is it kind of like a handshake deal? How has the world changed because of that? And then let's talk about this cartoon, man. It's freaking exciting.
Yes. So the collaboration with Puma is very much a real collaboration. Lawyers involved, 60,000 units, like global in all Puma stores across the world. It just launched in Asia, so like Taiwan has it, China has it, blah blah blah. I think you have to be a real person when you're doing these collaborations. I know people are always like, working with corporate people are so bad. I think it's really up to you as the creative. You have to leverage what you have and convince them that it's worth it. So for me, it was incredible. There wasn't a single bad moment. There wasn't a single creative difference. They were all on board. And the thing is, it's like these corporations hired a designer and the manager and blah, blah, blah. So they're into this sneaker culture and they're into streetwear. They're into art. So it's like, they want to do the coolest things as well. So there was, yeah, I mean, like, I can't stress enough how much it's been a pleasure. And any idea I want, they allow. So like this cartoon series, so we were supposed to do like a big tournament, soccer tournament with all like stores and blogs and press and whatever. And each press or blog was going to have their team or whatever. And ended up obviously COVID not being possible. And I was like, this is my perfect opportunity to do a cartoon that I've always wanted to do. I just didn't have the time or the budget or like the push needed. And so, yeah, it was like I spent like a week writing this script and I ended up writing like 15 episodes. And they're like, Colm, this is way too much. And I was like, cool, let's do 10. And they're like, how about 7? I was like, all right, fine. But yeah, so we have 7 episodes coming out, but I like wrote them all. I got me and one of my favorite like cartoon drawer illustrators who we've always been trying to collaborate or working on it together. We're getting some really interesting people to be voices for it.
Awesome.
And I think it could actually be sold to like a Netflix or an Adult Swim.
Absolutely. Look, man, there's an entertainment gap that's been created in society by the lack of sports, right?
Yeah.
We're all looking for new ways to be entertained, and absolutely, the next great cartoon doesn't have to come from the cartoon industry.
No, and I really believe in this one in terms of capturing what I think is the beautiful parts of New York City, and I think everybody can kind of relate to it. And yeah, I mean, it's obviously a little PC'd because of Puma. I couldn't say all my jokes, or curses, but
It's okay.
that was accepted. That was obviously acceptable, and I saw that coming. But I think there's something there where, I mean, I would love to start when I finish this is start pitching it to different networks and things.
Love it, man. Love it. Well, we'll give it some pump here. I'm curious though, as you mentioned, let's talk about the elephant in the room, Corona. It's changing retail in general. I mean, we have retailers unfortunately filing for bankruptcy. We have, direct to consumer. We have websites exploding. What's KidSuper's take on the future of retail post Corona? If I could put all that pressure on your shoulder.
No. I mean, I've always felt stores, for me, have to have something else. I don't want to just go to. I mean, for KidSuper, that's why I built a recording studio. I had a photo. Like, I wanted it to be creative. I wanted to create like a YMCA for creatives and also sell KidSuper. Like, you buy swim trunks at YMCA to go swimming. You buy a nice outfit at KidSuper to go record, whatever. So that was outside of Corona and everything. That's always been what I want. If my only thing is if Corona stops and we get back to like health in terms of normal, not societal normal, but health normal, like where it's safe to go outside, I think there's going to be a huge demand for just like being in person. Because even this or talking to people now, it feels more meaningful, I think. So the ability to create moments where people gatherings and stuff is going to be huge. So I think all of these, you'll see a lot of like in store and trying to have that like mom and pop shop vibe where you can talk to the customer or the manager and everything.
Yeah, so, recommendations. People want, infinite shelf space created its own problem where now, people with taste are in demand, and taste doesn't just come down to product. Taste comes down to how we spend our time.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I was never a big shopper anyways. I'm not a big online shopper. I'm not a big shopper, period. So for me, nothing really changed. But yeah, I mean, human connection's real. Making a community's real. I just don't like. I get for me. It's like, who cares about successfulness store wise? What do you want to make? You want to make a CVS? It's like, no, I don't want to be this. Like, I don't care if I'm selling 1 million Axe spray. That isn't what I want to do. I want to build a community, build a space where people can get inspired and meet people that I can create things with and opportunities and stuff like that. Yes, maybe if I own CVS now, I could buy Barcelona, but
yeah,
you still had to do the 40 years of CVS, in which no knock at that, but for me, it's like,
just not for
what do you want to do?
Yeah, look, man, do you? I'd like to finish the interview with a question in real time. I think it was your interview on high. It was just the one that you just posted.
Body is how you say it.
Yeah. Yes. See, I follow them and can't say it. Like Versace.
They have an issue with that, and so do I with my first name.
Curious if you mentioned your take on a comparison to Supreme or any high-priced hype brand, and this idea of making our own clothing. as an option to buying into hype culture. I mean, I found it very cool, and I'm curious about your take on sustainability and brands' roles in it.
It's funny because they picked, like, I obviously said a lot of things in that interview, and they picked that quote to highlight because I guess it's the most controversial.
Yeah.
And it's like a big name in it. But my idea, it wasn't so much at knocking Supreme.
Yeah, I didn't feel that, by the way. I just love the idea that you're telling people that you can make your own clothing. That Supreme started somewhere, and this idea that we can't make something for ourselves is obsolete now.
Right. I guess my main thing was I love, like, every Supreme's dropped like a million collections.
Yeah.
Each collection has pieces that I'm like, this is incredible, right? They've collaborated with the top artists of our generation. Supreme is awesome, but the thing that I was knocking was buying clothes to be cool,
of course,
instead of making your own or trying to pave your own way. And so that was just what I was saying. And the question was, why did I start? And I was like, look, I'm 15. I was always good at drawing. I was always good at painting. I had always done creative stuff with my mom. I had a group of friends that were drawers. We're from New York City, where brands start. So it's like we had heard of Supreme, Tem Deep, Mishka, Only, all these brands that were started in our areas. And then so we thought it was possible. And I didn't want to put my money into, I'm 15. I feel like you should think I'm cool, not because of the clothes I wear. You should think I'm cool because I'm cool. So yeah, that was the concept. I was like, look, you guys can pave your own way. And for me with KidSuper, it's like, I feel like when you buy a KidSuper piece, you know where it's going to, and you know that with all the money that I get, I'm just investing it back into amazing projects and amazing community building things and trying to create like this dream world. So I think that's something you should get behind as a consumer, whereas not that Supreme hasn't done stuff for their skaters and everything. It's just like, for me, it didn't translate. And I went to the store when I was 14 and they treated me like assholes. So I had this chip on my shoulder. But everyone has a fucking bad experience. It's not, sure. I mean, like, there's people probably now that are like, we called KidSuper's customer service and he was an asshole. So fuck it. So I get it. But yeah, that was my idea. It was like, look, you guys can, my concept was just, I can do it too.
I was inspired by the quote.
Right.
And it's funny because when I shared it, I had just shared Supreme's latest drop that had the Smurf license.
Right.
And to me, as a guy who's tracking this connection between play and fashion and streetwear, that was a share. And then I had to like think about it. I'm almost contradicting myself, but I'm not. I'm showing that there's multiple truths.
Right.
Like you buy Supreme, be amazing, choose the pieces you want, make your own clothes, be as cool as you want to be, and have full confidence.
Right. That's and it's funny because there's a lot of people that were like, actually that post went very viral, and we got like 4,000 Instagram followers from it, which was crazy. But I think, yeah, I mean, like, for me, it's what I also love about KidSuper. It's like, it's so real. Like, I was responding to the negative comments. I was like, look, guys, this was just my perspective as a 15-year-old. It's not knocking you for buying Supreme. It's just saying there's other options I'm more impressed with someone who can build their own brand than it is to buy into a brand. And I think that should be heralded more than like the dude who's wearing head to toe $1,000.
Of course.
That was
the story behind it. It's what made me buy this jersey, man. It's what made me follow
and
this brand.
That's what's so important about KidSuper. It's like, look, not everyone, but like, if you want the best fitting t-shirt, it's not going to be at KidSuper. Old Navy, Gap, they probably perfected it. But what you're going to get at KidSuper is a real brand that is trying to do real things.
Yeah.
And I think what I'm most proud about with KidSuper is that the ethos is so strong, like the brand identity is so strong that if you put KidSuper in front of anything, you can kind of picture it. So KidSuper toys, you kind of know what you're gonna get. KidSuper films, you know what you're gonna get. KidSuper, because there's a world that I'm creating, and I really do like that.
Perfect. I love it, man. I have the best news for you, my friend. You have made it to the very, 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 very end, a little segment we like to call the creation of positive energy, where you, KidSuper, get to shout out anyone, anywhere in the world for doing an amazing job. Props go a long way. The floor is yours.
Holy shit, this is not what I expected. So I have to say props to someone that I respect.
Okay. Yeah. Respect somebody that you know, any, like, whatever the connection is, somebody that inspires you.
I'm trying to think what I was most recently inspired by. That I was like, wow, well done. I'm the worst person for this. I have a horrible memory. But
Do you want to tell us what you had for breakfast?
I haven't eaten yet today.
Oh, well, there we go. We're learning.
Another thing about me, I don't eat too much. Not on purpose, but I don't eat breakfast and I go to sleep really, really late. I would love eating breakfast, but I just, yeah. I mean, if I was gonna splurge and spend money on myself, my first splurge purchase would be a personal chef.
Okay.
Okay, let me think who's I guess shout out to, if we're gonna keep it within the streetwear world community, shout out to Joe Fresh Goods. He's a brand out of Chicago, and I just love how true to him he is and how true to his community he is. And it's inspiring to see someone who's just continued to work at his craft finally get the roses and respects he deserves. And I think that comes a long way. And I keep telling everybody, it's like, look, you're gonna end up supporting the dude who put in 10 years over the dude who just put in a week. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No matter what the output is, there's gonna be a time when it turns around where it's like, oh, Joe has been doing this for 12 years. I remember when he was selling random shirts. Now he's got his stuff more together. I want to support him because I believe in him, and he's not going to stop. And I think for all of the people out there that are questioning why it's not working, I think it's just about continuing, and people will respect the amount of time and effort you put in.
10,000 hours, my friend. Thank you so much. This was an incredible opportunity to get
Let's make a KidSuper toy, despite the fact that I didn't play with them as a child.
Absolutely. Hey, toy manufacturers, let's get connected to the streetwear world a little bit more. KidSuper is the most toyetic brand in that space, and Colm is obviously incredibly creative. My name is Kid at Heart, Steve Starobinski. This is where we wave to the screen and say bye.
Bye.